Picture this, it's August 2025.
He's going, and now he just comes right back. You're anticipating him getting into the paint.
Position, the loose ball gets it to Ben and fills the lane. Ooh, nice.
Right of your screen, watch Simmons come from out of the corner.
Ben Simmons, once called the next Magic Johnson, is sitting at home. He's not on an NBA team. He's not even getting phone calls. Free agency opened a month ago, and teams are signing anyone they can find, even guys who can't make a layup. But Ben? The league has completely passed him by. How did it come to this? How did a former #1 pick, a three-time All-Star, a player who once looked like the future of basketball, end up begging for a job at just 29 years old? The answer is simple. The NBA has had enough. Enough excuses. Enough injuries. Enough drama. Ben Simmons went from one of the most promising players in the league to one of its biggest what-if stories. And it all traces back to one single play. The moment that broke everything. Game 7, 2021 Eastern Conference Semifinals. Sixers versus Hawks. The Sixers were down by 2 with 3.5 minutes left. Ben Simmons, a 6'11 point guard, got the ball near the rim. He spun past Danilo Gallinari. He had a wide-open dunk. The crowd rose to its feet. This was it, his chance to shine. And then he passed. And instead of slamming it home, Simmons dished the ball to Matisse Thybulle, who got fouled and made only one free throw. The Hawks went on to win. Joel Embiid threw his arms up in disbelief. Fans booed. And in that moment, Simmons' career as a franchise cornerstone died. After the game, things got worse. Coach Doc Rivers was asked if Simmons could be the point guard of a championship team. Doc shrugged and said, "I don't know the answer to that right now." Even Embiid piled on, pointing to the play as the turning point. Simmons' confidence collapsed, his teammates lost faith, and Philadelphia was done waiting. Philly meltdown. By that summer, Simmons had had enough. In a meeting with the Sixers, he flat out said he would never play for them again. He was so serious that he was willing to lose $20 million in fines just to stay off the court. When he did show up to practice, it was a circus. He kept his phone in his pocket during drills. He stood apart from the team. When Doc Rivers asked him to join a defensive drill, Simmons refused. Doc told him to go home. He literally dropped the ball and walked out. Embiid summed it up best. "It's not our job to babysit somebody." By February 2022, the Sixers shipped him to Brooklyn in a blockbuster deal for James Harden. The Sixers didn't just trade him, but they practically paid the Nets to take him. That's how toxic the situation had become. Brooklyn disaster. At first, it seemed like the perfect fit. Simmons wouldn't need to score next to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. He could focus on defense, rebounding, and passing. In theory, it was a dream. In reality, it was a nightmare. Simmons didn't play a single game in 2021-22 due to a back injury. When the Nets faced elimination against the Celtics in the playoffs, everyone expected Simmons to finally suit up. Instead, he didn't even show up to the arena. Teammates thought he wasn't pushing himself. The Nets got swept. Simmons became a meme. When he finally did play the next season, the numbers were ugly. He averaged just 6.9 points per game, a far cry from the 16-8 he put up in Philly. He shot 43.9% from the free throw line. And in the playoffs, he set the record for the worst free throw percentage in NBA history. By 2023 to 2024, things only got worse. Simmons played just 15 games before needing his second back surgery in 3 years. Brooklyn was paying him over $40 million for almost no production. That's nearly $3 million per game. The NBA world started asking the question, is this guy even worth a roster spot? Mental and physical breakdown. Simmons' downfall wasn't just physical, it was mental too. He admitted to Nets officials that he had a mental block where stress triggered his back pain. He told ESPN that constant criticism of his jump shot broke him down until he believed he couldn't shoot at all. This is the same player who once attempted 11 threes in a single college game. By 2023, he couldn't even hit the rim in warm-ups. Viral videos showed him airballing shots with no defense. His confidence had been completely destroyed. Physically, he was falling apart. His back injury dated back to 2020 when he described moments where his entire right side went numb. Twice, he was rushed to the hospital. Put simply, his body gave up on him, and his mind followed. By this point, even his teammates stopped believing in him. Markieff Morris called him out in a team meeting, saying the team needed him to step up. Kevin Durant publicly admitted he wasn't counting on Simmons at all. Coaches questioned his passion for the game. When your own locker room doubts whether you even want to play basketball, you're finished. In February 2025, Simmons got one last shot. The Clippers signed him for the veteran minimum, just over $1 million. His debut gave fans hope. 12 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals in a win over Utah. Maybe, just maybe, he was back. But by the playoffs, reality returned. Simmons averaged just 8 minutes per game and scored a total of 4 points across 5 games. The Clippers cut him in June. That was the final straw. Now it's August 2025. Simmons is unsigned. Teams like the Celtics, Knicks, Kings, and Suns showed mild interest, but only at the minimum. Simmons still wants more. But here's the truth. No contender trusts him. No rebuilding team wants him around young players. He's out of chances. Analysts have compared him to wasted talent stories like Deshaun Watson in football. Charles Barkley called him a joke. Stephen A. Smith said he's the most selfish player he's ever seen. Shaq called him a punk for sitting out the playoffs. These aren't trolls on Twitter. These are legends and respected voices, and they've all had enough. Could Simmons still find a job? Maybe. Pacers need a point guard after Halliburton's injury. Knicks could use him as a backup, but New York media would destroy him. Kings desperate for guard depth after losing De'Aaron Fox. Warriors briefly considered him, but Draymond and Curry don't have patience for a project. The sad truth is he might never play in the NBA again. He could end up in China or Europe, far away from the league that once called him a future superstar. This is the real tragedy. Ben Simmons wasn't a bust. He was an all-star. He was all-NBA. He was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. At his peak, he joined LeBron James and Magic Johnson as one of the only players to average 7+ assists, 1+ steals, 0.4+ blocks, and shoot over 50% from the field. He had the talent, he had the platform, he had everything. But one play, one missed dunk in 2021, set off a chain of events that he never recovered from. His confidence crumbled, his body failed him, his reputation collapsed. Now he's 29 years old, younger than Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Damian Lillard. He should be in his prime. Instead, he's sitting at home while the NBA moves on without him. Ben Simmons' story isn't about someone who was never good enough. It's about someone who had the skills to be great but lost his way. The NBA has had enough of his excuses, his injuries, and his lack of confidence. And unless Simmons finds a way to rebuild himself completely, his time in the league might already be over. The rise and fall of Ben Simmons will go down as one of the biggest what-if stories in basketball history. And the saddest part? We'll never know what could have been, because the NBA has already turned the page.